Good evening. Welcome to State of Affairs. We are streaming live on gh1tv.com and also on YouTube Live. And you can check out the program later on my YouTube account, Nana Abba Anamwa. You search for me on YouTube. Also, if you want to join this discussion, we are live on every social media platform and the hashtag is State of Affairs. My guests tonight, of course, the NDC and the NPP, and we are discussing the latest from the camp of the NPP, who say that they are eyeing 20 seats in the Greater Accra region. Is this possible? Well, Gary Nimakomafo, who's one of the lawyers for the NPP, has joined us in the studio. Gary, it's good to see you. Happy New Year to you. I haven't seen you this year.
I mean, it's been a while. Since our last encounter.
That's very true. Yeah. And then the Honorable Kojo Eduasare, former MP for Adenta and also presidential staffer. It's good to have you back in the studio. The last time you were all by yourself. Yeah, so I'm happy we have Gary with us today.
Yeah, that's always the best way to go about it.
It's refreshing.
It's not the best to be
alone,
punching without
without taking.
Yeah. Yes.
Anyway, so the NPP they've raised a number of things. Number one, they're targeting 20 seats in the Greater Accra region. You currently have 14 out of the 34. 20 seats is quite a big one, and I've been monitoring the trends, and it looks like once you win the Greater Accra, majority of the seats in the Greater Accra region, then you go on to win the elections. I don't know how that will pan out in the next election, but is this possible?
Well, Nana, let me say good evening to your cherished viewers. You see, every political party runs on numbers, and I think every family, as it is, you reasonably expect. As time and time goes on, you increase your numbers. A political party is being formed to ensure that you win political power. That is the essence of a political party. So you can manage the affairs of the nation in a manner that is prudent and efficient to better your people.
All right.
Now, as it stands now, MBP has 14 seats in Parliament in Greater Accra. Now, which party doesn't want more seats in Accra? And you know the trend here. If you win Greater Accra, and we take your eastern region, and you take Ashanti region, and maybe Brunafo region, you capture the political seat. And you can see that this time around, the flag bearer is determined to ensure that they will unseat the administration of President Mahama. No, the boss is aware. I mean, the signals are very clear on the wall.
Are they?
Oh, they are clear on the wall. You see, the mood of the nation is in for a change. It's in for a change. All the signals are getting very clear that the NDC is not doing things the way they ought to do. The people are suffering, they are complaining. So basically, Greater Accra region, yes, the 14 are there now, but if you look at the trends now, they are trying to ensure that whatever it takes, they will have to increase the seats to at least 20 minimum.
At least.
20.
Emphasis on at least.
In spite of all the challenges and the problems we're going through, we want to ensure that at least 20 of the seats is retained or is given to the NPP to enable us take political power from the NDC.
Okay. Before I go to the Honorable Eduasare, let's join Pollster Benefson on the line. Thank you for joining us, Uncle Ben. And I'm sure you've been monitoring the news from the Greater Accra chairman of the NPP saying that they are targeting at least 20 seats in the Greater Accra region. You've been monitoring the polls for a very long time. Is this possible? Can the NPP really take at least 20 seats in the region?
20 seats, that was done by the NPP NDC in the 90s and 80s results. But in the last election, Accra now has 34 seats. NDC took 20 and the NPP took 14. So I'm sure they are saying that there are 6 seats which are swing that they may want to take. Interesting enough, I'm sure you would have realized that both NDC and NPP, they've set their presidential percentage at 60%. They just don't to go into work because 60 plus 60 is 120%, and you need percentages up to 100. So that's another interesting angle.
Okay, so what you're saying basically, because I want you to just tell us specifically, if as you've been listening to Gary, I don't know if you listened to him, but he says that things are not going well for the NDC. According to him, the writings are on the wall, that people are going to vote massively and vote the NDC out. Is this the same impression you're getting on the ground?
Well, we've just started and I'm sure he would know that you cannot conclusively say that for the parliamentary, for example, it is going to be that way. What if, for example, in some of the swing constituency, activists of the NPP decide to go independent, split the votes and let NPP lose, or activists of NDC can decide to also contest and split the votes. So for the parliamentary, especially the swing constituencies, until nominations close at the electoral commission, you cannot put your finger, especially on the swing constituency. For the safe seats, like Ashaiman, for example, for the NDC, like Dominico Abenya for the NPP, you can be sure they will take those seats. But for the swing seats, 6 or 8 seats, until July, close of business, on 19th July 2016, we cannot be sure that the seat is yours till nominations close.
Okay, and I'm sure the NPP is basing this on a particular premise that in the run-up to the 2012 elections, they predicted 18 seats from the Greater Accra region. They won 14. They actually took 4 seats to court, claiming that the votes were stolen in those 4 constituencies. So by the trend the NPP is going, it looked like they really met their target for the 2012 elections.
But the alleged 20 seats were stolen. Even the presidential election, that went the full hog. The decision was that the court disagreed by majority vote that there were irregularities. Once the 4 seats did not go the full hog, I believe that it will be a bit presumptuous to assume that they won. So those 4 belongs to them.
All right. Thank you very much. Bni Abusing is a pollster, and later on in the
you.
show, you get to see his countdown to the 2016 elections, and it's happening on State of Affairs and tomorrow morning as well on GH Today. Honorable Duasari, 20 seats for the NPP. You find it ambitious or easy peasy for them?
I want to greet your cherished viewers. Thanks for inviting me one more time. I think the NPP, it's not bad to be ambitious. It's rather when you are over-ambitious, then there's a problem.
Are they being over-ambitious here?
I think that's exactly where I'm going now. I would have loved to hear the Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the NPP list whichever constituency they are targeting, so that we can look at the trend in the past 3-4 elections, so that we can do proper analysis of whether or not this whole agenda is feasible or is just somebody's wishful thinking. I think that NDC, let me even use my constituency, and Adenta constituency, which people consider as a swing constituency. The previous candidate, that's NDC candidate, lost by close to 1,000 votes in 2004. Then I recovered that number and added 5,300. So between myself and the then incumbent, I beat him by 5,300, and I recovered almost 1,000 votes. So if you added that, we are talking close to 6,000 or more. Then you come to 2012. We rather added some more votes onto that. So for me, if someone tells me we are going to lose Adenta, for instance, the person must have some, scientific methods by which they can prove that this is a possibility. Then we are having a sound argument, because I don't see that happening.
Well, they're saying that they're looking at the writings on the wall.
Well,
they've heard how people are complaining about the current situation.
Well, I think that 2004, 2008, 2012 elections, people were complaining the same way. Okay, at any given time, complaints won't stop. It only becomes louder because the microphones are closer to those complaints. We send the microphones to people so they can complain and make it louder. It's not as if the complaints were not there in the first place. So for me, the complaints will come. They are magnifying
But if they are not seeing these complaints addressed,
that's you see, I want us to be pragmatic again. In my constituency at Denta, when I was contesting election, water was the biggest issue. Today, has water been a problem in Adenta been solved? Yes, 100%. So if water was the problem, by which people thought we need to bring an MP or elect an MP who can champion water challenges for us and ensure that our situation improves. And that MP or that government, let's say parties, a representative, wins, ensures that this thing is done. How do they just throw such a person away and say that you haven't done anything? So what these complaints that we need to list complaining about what exactly, so that we know what their challenges were, what it is now. Is it that whatever challenge they had as a constituency has not been attended to, coming to education, or if you want to take the issues one by one, education, health, road network, and all those other sectors that we will probably get into as time gets along. I think that the NPP is becoming too, they are ambiguous with
are they?
Yes, ambiguous with their issues. Oh, we are suffering.
If you're living in Adenta,
yes,
and you've been provided with water, but the energy crisis affected you greatly.
Wonderful.
What is the essence of water to you?
Wonderful.
If you have lost your job and
Wonderful.
you cannot pay the water
Wonderful.
bills?
Wonderful. I think that for anybody to think that the energy crisis was caused by NDC, the person might not be living in this country.
But you were elected for a reason.
Wonderful. And we have solved that problem.
How
This
do you
was not a
solve it?
problem that we came and created for Ghanaians. It was a writing on the wall. We only were walking into something that was staring at us, because the interventions before the NDC came were not there. Now we have placed those interventions, we have put those interventions in place.
Okay.
And slowly we are closing that gap. As I speak to you now, we all know this car power, the first batch arrived some few months back. The other batch is also coming sometime in August, September. So the Ghanaian, as I know very well that we don't, as a country, we don't manufacture these things ourselves. We are falling on other countries.
Ghanaians know that?
Oh, certainly.
Okay.
So we're working on that, and they know that given by the time election comes, this is as we speak, this what do they call it? Ghana Gas. They are not operating, you know that. They've shut down. And yet, we are still managing the situation. Nobody is crying because there's dousor all over the place.
Gary, when you say the writings are on the wall, are they similar writings you see
And
that he says have been solved?
Sometimes, you see, I don't know whether the lenses that we look are different lenses. Because Honorable Dresser is my very, very good friend. And if you are not sitting on this TV, you might sing the same from the same hymn book. But possibly, maybe sitting here, you have to defend the positions. But clearly, Nana, I think that in all fairness, if the government says they've done projects or some projects, if I even in Asylum down, you see some roads have been done, and I've seen them myself. But the question you must ask yourself, at what cost was those roads done? It's very critical. Value for money audit.
But if you've been using your car on a bad road and your car has become rickety, would you care how much cost?
You will have to care. You know why you have to care? Because the government says, I've provided you a road. All right? You go into the cost element, and you realize that the amount of money that was used to do the road for you, it's been double, 3, 4 times, 5 times full. The question you ask yourself, at what cost was the road given to you?
But you have the road.
You have the road. But you see, that is where the difficulty we all have.
Okay.
At what cost? Value for money audit. Now, they say water was given to people in Adenta. Is it all over in Adenta or some parts of Adenta? Because Adenta stretches all the way to Ashoman and even to North.
Adenta doesn't stretch to
Yeah,
Ashoman.
but people to
But even people in Ashoman
people living there.
They have
also
water?
benefiting.
But they don't have
Some,
the water.
some
they don't
part,
have the water.
yeah, because you need to
so
connect the pipe to your place. Otherwise, water won't get there.
You see, the difficulty that I have is that the system, cost of living in this country now is so high. Maybe unless you don't feel it, I feel it. I really feel it. And I know that before, so where Honorable Saga sits, obviously he cannot feel the pinch or the heat.
How so?
Oh.
He's a Ghanaian as well.
No, he said, on the Flagstaff. And I would just met him. So they see the
never
government.
They don't breathe the same oxygen.
No.
I've never lived in paradise here in Ghana before.
So I think that basically the ordinary man on the street who feel how we feel, the businessman who is doing his business, who cost of living or cost of production has increased so much to the extent that he has to lay off some workers. It's feeling what we are feeling. Now, even electricity, you say you are giving electricity. At what cost? At what cost? Some workers have been laid off, all because you cannot sustain those kind of employees under that kind of environment. So basically, in fact, even let me tell you something. Even in our own small businesses, our workers are now demanding for increment in salary because they are telling us that cost of living in this country has skyrocketed. That is why we are saying that, look, the government is there to make life better for all of us. If things are better for all of us, it does not matter whether it's even it's NDC or MPP. If people are feeling better, they can feel it. Now, I have always said, and I always maintain, that if come 2016, in your own estimation, you think that life is better, it's okay for you under NDC, go and vote for them to continue. If in your view, life is burdensome, and you want somebody to enlighten your burden for you, then make a U-turn and shift to an area where at the end of the day, we are offering you an alternative. Alternative that vote for a candidate that can provide you with a lighter burden to carry.
And that candidate is
Nana
Nanado
Dankwa
and his
Akufo-Addo.
MPs. Now,
That is correct.
are you aware of the seats that you're targeting? Because you have 14 already, so you need 6 more.
Yes.
And what is the guarantee that you're actually retaining the 14 you already have?
You see, Nana, let me tell you something.
And do you have a strategy?
Oh, Nana, you don't.
Or is just the writings on the
No,
wall?
no,
Or you will
no.
not take me through the strategy?
No. I will not be here, and we are going into
Important season.
important election like this, and then you come and sit on the television and openly tell the people that, look, this is how we are going to progress. This is how you are going to move here. No, then they will come and counter. No.
I know
I
one.
think-
Or maybe
I think
copy.
that- I think that-
I know one strategy.
I think that,
You know.
I'll tell you when it's done.
Okay.
I think that you see, the strategy has been laid down very clear. It's been laid down very clear. We all know how we're going to progress, how we're going to move. And come 2016, you will see. On what the rest of the constituency, for instance, where YB is, I can assure you that seat is going to the MPP.
It will fall.
It is going to fall. Look, the candidate who is now there now, YB, look, the man is a mathematician. He's on the ground.
It's not
with the people.
Loud
You
voice.
see, he's with the people on the ground. Now, I mean, the one who came there, I don't know what he has done up to now anyway, because I live very close to Adenta constituency.
And nothing has been done.
I-
You've benefited from the water.
Oh, if you say water, and then my water bill is
But you have
on a
water.
monthly basis almost about 600 Ghana cedis.
How
You
was
say
it then?
You benefit from water.
How was it then?
I mean,
He was
you know,
expending on water
But
tankers.
the bottom line is that no matter whatever you have done, Ghanaians expect to do better and to do
No, I'm
more.
saying how much were you paying? You have mentioned the figure.
Oh,
600 Ghana
yes.
now. How much were you paying?
I was
when-
paying 300 Ghana cedis.
So it has doubled.
No, when you were buying it from these...
The water
I was
tankers.
buying,
Water
I was
tankers.
buying a tin on a monthly basis.
For 300.
300.
And now that you have water,
It's 600.
Oh, that's not
600.
that's
Yes.
not accurate.
that's a double.
You are my
That's
kids
not
are still
accurate.
3.
That's not
I've not increased
accurate.
the children. You are still 3.
That's not
With one
accurate.
wife.
That
Not
is
even 2.
not accurate.
Why are you considering a second one?
Because the more you are bringing in, the more you must pay.
That's
you
not
understand?
accurate.
Gary.
Bottom line.
That's
bottom
not
line.
accurate at
Bottom
all.
line. Bottom line is that I think that whether you are providing or not providing, the people must have a feel
Well.
in their pockets that look, whatever you are doing, you are making life a bit easier for them to carry. Nana, let me tell you one truth. You see, when we sit here and then we say that things are difficult, it is not because you are just saying it or trumpeting it the loudest. It is because the people who you must support, people who come to your office on a daily basis for even financial support, they are telling you how they are feeling. They are telling you their difficulties. You see, so sometimes certain things, obviously, maybe in this ordinary sense, you might think it's easy. But people you must support, people you must help, they are the people you must carry their cries to the government. Look, let me tell you, I share the same office with the Domain MP, Ajuasafo, all right? And I see the number of people who walk into the office on a daily basis asking for financial assistance. And it's not easy. It is not easy. And you can see, if all these people were even working, why would they come to ask for financial assistance from their MP? The people don't have the jobs. The youth are crying. So if the government was giving the youth employment, why would somebody who's employed go to another person's office for money? So when we talk about some of these things...
But they've introduced a number of modules under the employment scheme.
Well, Nana, when you introduce models, you must see the effect of the models and its application on the ground.
And they've been trumpeting that, haven't they?
That's
about the coverage so far. How many people are benefiting?
I'm saying, Nana, whatever government is in power, I will never sit here and say that NDC has not done anything at all since they came into office in 2012. It's not possible I can say that. They've done something.
Oh, 2008.
No, from President Mills to this time, you must put it together.
Yeah.
And President Mahama has been in charge all the way. He has made us aware that even when the president was even sick, he was in charge. So he has done the whole almost 8 years. This is the last time that he's going.
It's not his last time.
It's his last time that he's going. I mean, I can assure you that, by the end of 2016, when we're going to the elections, November 7th, you realize that the man will be gone. So we are saying, yes, they've done something, but it's not enough. The people are still crying foul. They need an improvement in their lifestyle. And therefore, if you say it is enough, or they are shouting, they must keep on shouting the loudest, that I don't think is the way to go.
But we all have insatiable desires. We always ask for more, no matter what we have.
We always ask for more.
Yeah.
You see, our lives must be better. Okay. Our lives must be better. You see, when you have a better life, look, you can sleep at peace. And when you have a better life, you can take care of your family, your children, your grandchildren, and you're happy. Okay. People must live in this country in a peaceful environment. So at least, once they get up in the morning, they can go home in peace. Let me tell you, you go to sometimes our trotros and our taxis and other people are in the taxis and they found your face. They found your face.
Why?
Because there's enough pressure on them.
That's what.
On families. Pressure on families. Okay. It's not easy.
Okay.
So bottom line, they are doing something, but it's not enough.
Right.
The people still expect that more should be done to ensure. But if they think that they are tired of doing what they are doing now, then the kitchen is too hot for them. They should just leave the thing for them now to come and continue where they have left for.
I don't think they are willing to leave the kitchen now.
Are you sure?
Honorable Edrasari, when the MPP says that they are targeting at least 20 constituencies in the Greater Accra region, and they've targeted others as well in other regions, the Upper East region, I think, featured prominently as well. The NDC should be sitting on some pins because in 2012 they succeeded in unseating, for example, Moses Asaga, John Akologotia. And these people, according to their constituents, had done a lot for them. And so when he says that you're doing something but it is not enough, and they can unseat you, it is possible because they've succeeded in doing it before.
Well, usually election results do not favor names, I would say, because if you went to the other side, from the same list, you will find people who were also lost. I mean, big names who also lost from other constituencies and so on. So it can be their way. He was mentioning, he said something about value for money. You see, they are touting this thing all over the place.
The cost of projects.
Cost of projects and all over. Please, this issue of this project could have, or this particular man could have done 3, 4, 5 or whatsoever. These are all propagandist theories.
How?
Headed by the running mate of the flag bearer. Because his banding the other day when I came here, that was one of the issues. It didn't take long. The Bank of Ghana boss came out with the right figure.
Which was different from the president's.
It doesn't matter. At least it was closer. As of
but how come the president didn't give us the exact figure?
Yes, the president didn't give you the exact month. The Bank of Ghana boss did. He gave up to a certain month. Who knows whether what of the briefing the president carried was not up to the month that, but from the 25 million to 37 million, there's a vast, we are not talking chicken change here. We are talking $1 billion. And $1 billion is no joke. And multiply that by 12. So somebody is seriously exaggerating. And since then, he's gone down under with
Has
those
he?
figures. Oh, yes. I mean, with these figures issues, he's not banding up because the right figures are
Because
now.
he said what has to be said already.
That was
and he's gone on to a different message.
You see, lies cannot change anything for you. You say it today, you have to defend it. So we're expecting him to continue to say 37 till now. Now he has stopped. Okay, and this is what he went about saying, that projects were, and they go about saying, oh, MTN did the same project for this amount. Let them show Ghanaians the plan that MTN used, the building they put up, where they put up the building, and all of that. Because you see, when no two building plans, okay, no two buildings, or let's say, same building plan in two different locations will cost the same, depending on the circumstance in terms of land and whatsoever, even access to where you get aggregates to supply to the site and all those other things. So for me, that's how come the president.
But if you consider all of that, then
yes.
The cost of the project should not be as astronomical.
Which one is
as
astronomical?
The NPP
Have they been able to prove anything to anybody? You see, one thing they have succeeded in doing and smartly doing is that they come and when they get the opportunity, they just they don't present any source of anything, and unfortunately some of the presenters don't even ask them which source, where did you get this figure from, and when you push them to that corner, you see them retreating and backtracking with the figures. That's exactly what was done to Dr. Baumia. They come out because they have the unfettered use of the microphone, and and they just throw it out there, dramatizing stuff, and then the next moment when you push them, then they start backtracking. Okay, no, we are Ghanaians. We all believe, as a government, we are human beings. We know the feelings that people are going through, even currently. The president has said it time and again that we are not out of the woods yet. We have challenges. We needed to confront them. Some of them is like a bit harsh than we would have loved for it to be. But they say what? A blow which is inevitably yours, earlier encountered, extricates you from further torrential hostilities.
Oh my God.
So you need to face and confront some of the challenges that you cannot surmount whichever way it comes. You crash them today, tomorrow it's not there. So you level the field and then slowly you deal with the ones that are easier. This is where the path.
So you get the feeling the
NPP
may actually lose some of their 14?
You see, I don't know how. That's why I told you earlier. I'm going to show you one of the tricks they use. Wherever they have some numbers, okay, that are comfortable, probably the lead there is quite whatever. They bus people. My constituency, that's what happened.
But the people don't vote.
Sorry?
Are those the people they are busing? Are they voting?
Oh, you don't understand what I mean?
No.
During registration period, they will bring these people
to come and register.
Bus them.
But are they from the constituency?
They are not. And for me, that is Is
that what you do?
That is what I did. So I made sure that I had intelligence to deal
stop them.
with. Oh yes, I can check from the commander in my constituency. I made a formal report and I told him if he doesn't do anything about it, we will do something about it. And true to my word, I'm telling you, we've deflated some tires of the vehicles that
we're busing
them. So after a while, when you go to rent those buses, they say they won't come because they are afraid that their tires will be deflated. We had to take some action. So I'm telling those of you watching me, all the parliamentary candidates in some of the constituencies where the MPP has bigger numbers, make sure you are vigilant and make sure they go to these GPRTU stations and ensure that those buses are not hired to bus in these people. Some will come, especially from Adenta, some will come from the eastern region, to
come and register.
Yes, some came from
But
Ablekuma
that's
North.
a clear violation.
I am telling you, these are tricks. I'm putting it out here so people will raise their antennas.
But this is an illegality, Gary.
And you see, I have a video on one of my phones. It's not like I just come and sit on radio and talk. You understand? But these are things that happen. If you ask Ben Efset, he will tell you. He will tell you, and it's part of their strategy. And I'm telling all parliamentary candidates of NDC to be vigilant in their areas to ensure that these things are not perpetrated. That's the only way.
That's their strategy.
That's the
Gary,
only way.
that's your strategy.
Other than that,
really?
forget it. They can never use propaganda. They can't lie to the Ghanaians. Because look at the coastline areas. We picked all those seats from the NPP. Okay, and we have also dealt very well with them in terms of their social amenities and all the things
they
that
still complain about petrolling.
We agree.
They're still talking about.
We agree. Petrolling is a menace that Ghana alone cannot handle. We need other whatever.
Apparently, the fishermen claim that the problem has been solved in neighboring Ivory Coast and Togo. So it is a big problem on the waters here in Ghana.
You see, earlier on, we didn't even have surveillance, what do they call, vessels to,
Now the Navy is well equipped.
Navigate our waters. The same NDC government procured naval whatever for the vessels for them, and we have it. So certainly it's not like it used to be. Okay, and again, if you want to know some of the owners of the vehicles, the vessels that were doing the patrolling, they know themselves. And they are in know. You see, don't let me come and divulge issues here. They know themselves.
Let me come to Gary now. Gary, is that really a fact that the NPP engages in busing?
Nana, I am really, really surprised and amazed by this allegation. That they've been fighting indeed, Honorable.
Oh no, I can give you
evidence.
Wait a minute. If Honorable is really aware of such information,
and he's keeping it,
and
I told you I reported it to the police. I told you there's a report at the Delta Police,
and the police, took no action about this matter. Then
the police commander was helpless that
time.
Wait
a minute.
Helpless.
You see.
And this was in 2008.
Helpless.
Okay.
Eventually, they transferred him 3 weeks to elections.
You see, Nana, there's a constitutional qualification which regulates where a person ought to register. All right? I mean, you cannot move from here, Asylum down, or Adenta, and go to voter region or whatever, and just say you want to register there. No.
It happened.
Then it means that maybe you have been doing that, because I'm sure
it happened in 2008, and I'm giving you evidence of my constituency.
Well, you see, the qualifications as to who is entitled to register at any place is laid down by law, and therefore, if there's any violation of that kind of criteria, it's incumbent upon you to report and have the person prosecuted in one way or the other under the electoral laws. You understand? So I am just shocked to hear that you are aware of such a monumental evidence.
He said he reported it to the police.
And what did the police do?
The police
Nothing.
And what did he do?
The commander was helpless and he was transferred
3 weeks to elections.
Oh, Nana.
I can give you
the
names.
Transfer of a commander does not negative the effect of a criminal action which has been committed. I mean, policemen are transferred all over the place.
And what can I do?
So the fact that transfer officer has been affected.
If they don't want to
does it mean if a crime has been committed?
What can I do?
A crime has been committed, there is no crime. Is that what you are saying? No.
If the case is not moved, what can I do?
But have you heard of any of these allegations against the NPP before?
I have never heard of this matter before.
Even the electoral officer.
You see,
the electoral officer at the Adenta district was also relieved of his post.
Because of what?
Elections. He was 1 month. The police was 3 weeks.
3
weeks. So you see, I'm speaking from experience.
Wait.
And that is all that I'm saying. I'm not transferring it.
And this is only the NPP that does it, assuming they really did something like that.
Well, if he has anything to the contrary, he should put it out.
Okay.
I'm talking what I say as I saw in my constituency.
Okay, but Gary says that it's definitely an illegality.
Yes. So that is what his party people did.
It is not correct. It is not correct. I mean, it's not
illegality,
correct.
and they are ready to unleash another.
You see, it is not
So you
correct.
think that's their strategy?
That
for
is
it?
all. Other than that,
you
I don't
see,
see how they're
oh.
going to win.
But the NPP as such,
You see,
they
it's honorable what
they
Russia is
pride
saying.
themselves as a very law-abiding
Yes, we are.
party.
You think so?
Yeah. you
They
see,
respect
you see,
rule of law.
No, he's a lawyer, and certainly he will
You see,
do that.
you
But
see, you see-
they have some other people within the system
I see.
who don't see
Well,
things from his perspective.
Well, you see, I
Interesting.
think that if anything of that nature, you have that information. Or reasonably, you ought to do the right thing by getting the police to do
Oh,
so.
Gary,
said he
I
did.
said I did.
If the police did the work and they didn't do the work to its conclusion, then it's something that maybe from tomorrow I'm going to do my own checks to find out.
Okay.
I will
Whether
give you
whether
leads from
yes,
the-
don't
from-
worry,
from this
don't worry.
evening.
I will go and find out, and then you must convince us, all right, whether these persons were identified as MPP supporters.
Now you are
And by
going-
what means were they identified as MPP supporters? Was it by their ID cards or by what
That's a
means?
good question, Honorable
No, no,
Idwasa.
you see,
How
the
did
person-
you know
the
that they were
person-
NPP?
The person when we arrested some of them red-handed.
They said they were NPP.
Yes.
Oh, come on.
Come on.
You see, let us
These
not-
are things that happen.
You see,
You see,
Nana.
sometimes I think that we have to be. Let's face the realities.
Nana.
Okay.
But they could have
Nana,
been anybody
Nana,
and cite the
and-
NPP.
oh,
Nana,
They could
Nana,
be.
Nana,
Because
I think that-
why if you do you will
Nana,
win.
Nana,
Why,
in fairness to your viewers, I think that Honorable Adwasare, as we speak here now, has not been able to give us the paperwork to back
prove.
up his allegation.
Okay.
And I think it is fair that he has to retract.
Oh, please,
Until
please,
no,
please. Which
until,
paper?
No, until
Which paper do you
until-
want?
No, but you see,
Which
you're making
paper?
an
I
allegation.
said go and check from
And the allegation-
Adenta police station if there's no
No.
report in their
The
archives.
allegation is that the NPP engages in such illegalities. They bus our people.
Listen,
And
listen.
that allegation is not,
Constituency.
that allegation is
that
not correct.
that
And you don't
that
have the
is
paper to get to
that is-
prove.
That is the only
So he has to
reason
withdraw the
they
allegation.
can win the 6 seats they are talking about.
Is that
Other than
fair
that,
to them, though?
I don't think they can. They have any other means because
They
their
don't have
message-
any strategy?
They no strategy. Their flag bearer, you can't even see him. His running mate is
What
the
do you
one.
mean you can't see?
No,
Leonardo
the
is
running-
all over the place.
Where?
Even
Where?
on his birthday,
Where?
he was
Where?
all over the
Oh,
place.
birthday.
Granting
Beyond that, we've
interviews here
seen
and there.
the running mate in Sunyani, in
Nana.
But what do you want to see? What do you want to
Ashanti
see
region
Leonardo
and all
for?
that. Sorry?
Fix-
He's
fix
the
fix
candidate.
the economy.
He's the candidate.
See, Nana,
So you want to see the candidate at
Nana,
work, not
Nana,
the
again,
running
Nana,
mate.
again.
Yeah.
Again.
Not the running mate.
Nana,
Okay.
again.
Where is Leonardo?
Oh, come on. He's in his office.
Okay.
You see,
So he's around.
You are
You
see-
accompanying
you see-
your office,
you see-
and
you see-
you know
you see- oh,
the
come
work
on.
is in the field. You know.
Oh, come on.
So
But the
when
president sits in
when
his
you
office
lose,
too,
the
doesn't
president, you saw him all over within 3-4 days. You see what
He
he's
was
been.
launching
The
projects
president
funded
will
by
do-
our taxes,
Wonderful.
our
That
money,
is
and therefore
Using-
from
exactly,
donors, from donors.
exactly.
Using
You can.
state-
That is
Unless,
money.
of course, you're saying he's abusing incumbency.
Which one?
Yes.
Which one is
No, I'm
abusing
saying
incumbency?
unless you're saying he's abusing it, because you're saying that he's active everywhere.
The
Active
president
doing what?
is active. He's running
He's doing
against
it.
the president. Is that not the case?
Yeah.
Nana is running against the president. The president is visible somewhere.
president is
It
doing
doesn't
his
matter.
work.
Whatever. He's doing his work and he's visible. So you don't run against such a person and think
Nana.
that
Okay.
you are going to have.
Nana,
You're
see
going
the-
to
you see
Gary,
win.
you have the final word on
No,
this.
you see the problem sometimes we have in this country in our politics. The difficulty we have is that now it is even difficult to differentiate whether the president is on a campaign tour or the president is working.
That's what it has always been.
You see,
It hasn't been different since time immemorial.
You see, there is a man who has a state apparatus, all the machinery at his
When
behest.
President
It
Kufuor.
happened in 2004.
Yeah. So
Well,
why
Happened
are
in
we
well,
complaining?
2008. It doesn't
well,
make it right,
so-
but it's
so-
a reality.
Yes,
No,
that
it's
is
not-
why.
He didn't
That is
go on
why.
a campaign trail.
that
I'm
is
saying
why-
he's visible across the
that is
country
why
for the
if
kind
you-
of job
oh,
that
okay.
he's engaged in. He's visible. And so,
So-
if you are sitting
so-
in your office and the president, goes round and he beats you to elections, you come back and say, oh, this thing was not right and this thing was like that. Let's go to court. Do you understand? That's the point I'm
I
making.
can assure you that when there's elections, there will be no court.
There'll be no court.
Wonderful.
The elections will be
Hallelujah.
won.
Hallelujah.
Elections
At the
will be won
polling
at the polling station.
Hallelujah.
And to be one hands down.
Hallelujah.
Okay.
To be one hands down, there will be no court.
Hallelujah.
There will be no court.
Hallelujah. That's my prayer.
Yes.
All right.
Because there's going to be a massive trouncing in that election.
I want us to discuss something else. And Honorable Idwasare, I have to start with you on this
Right.
one. These arrests we've been seeing from national security. The gentleman who was just recently arrested over the weekend from Marbles and Granite? It is. What is happening?
what is happening.
Is it fair to say that we're seeing or recording some form of abuse from the national security apparatus?
Why are you saying that?
It's a question I'm asking.
Well, I don't see any such thing, and this question is not really fair to be asked because...
Why not? Because if people are watching and they're seeing the institutions that should be responsible for the preservation and advancement of democracy for the republic, but are becoming appendages.
By whose marking scheme are they becoming appendages?
Because that is the allegation against
Wonderful. I love that word, allegations. All right? And I keep asking this question. At what point can the BNI or the national security or the police or the military or whichever institution, at what point will they cease to be a state institution? And at what point will government that seem to run that runs these state institutions in terms administratively, at what point will their activities decouple from each other?
How would you factor in the recent arrest of this
Which
gentleman, the MD for the marbles and granite, and what you're telling us?
Please, what happened? Somebody has gone to allege that his premises has been invaded in a way. I don't know the real words to use or whatsoever. A picture has been taken from a perspective that infringes on his security and whatsoever. Reports the case to the state institution. The state institution
Who is the person?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't?
A Ghanaian. Today, since this morning, since the day broke till now, can we go around the police cells, police stations around the country to find how many people have been placed behind bars for various offenses? Why are we singling out one person because he is X person or Y person? He's a Ghanaian. He has the right, just as any one of us has. So that if he feels that his premises has been, or his liberties are being infringed upon by, I don't know the laws. So he invites a company, an institution that is mandated to carry out such a duty on his behalf. Where did that individual, go wrong? He did not go there to beat up anybody personally. He never assaulted any individual personally. He never, with impunity, brutalize or vandalize any property in effect. Nothing of the sort. He used a state apparatus, just like Nanaba and Gary and Kojo will do to deal with this issue. Has the person's rights been trampled upon? So far, I haven't heard that. Their lawyers have not come out to say that this and that has been done because the
lawyer for the man has been speaking.
48-hour period. Was it, what was the word? Abused? That is one question we should ask. Was he incarcerated within the frame of the proper legal frame or whatsoever? Those are the questions I want us to ask, rather than to move the discussion into the arena of this is Baba Kamara and he's the vice national security advisor. So he wields a certain power that he can use to abuse. What is abuse? I want to understand what abuse means. Let's define that. And let's find out whether it is Baba Kamara that abused somebody or
he was abused instead. Or the other way around.
That's why, for me, I wouldn't even try, because I'm not a lawyer. He probably will have but even as a lawyer, he has a perspective that another lawyer can come and argue against. So for me, I think that the case is in the bosom of those who know the law. If anybody has any issue beyond this, the law can still be used to address it. That is my position on this issue.
Gary.
Nana, I think that Ghana is now moving back into very interesting times. You see, issue of BNI and its operations, national security, its operations, is one of the concerns that I have on this spy bill. The spy
Spy
bill,
bill,
that is
oh.
before Parliament. That's certain portions gives the discretion to the National Security Coordinator that at a behest, if he finds or considers certain communication between some persons to be against national security, he can, on his own accord, take action and have the person more or less arrested. Nana, you see, we live in a country where I think that if you have decided to be bound by the rule of law, then we must make our actions comply as such. Nana, if you have never been arrested before, put behind bars before, you will never value what we call liberty or freedom. We're sitting here right now. If today or right now I want to move to where your cameramen are, and you say no, you can't move. At that time, you have arrested me. At that time, my liberty has been curtailed. At that time, I have no right to move at my own pace. What did the man do? He is said to have taken pictures of some Mahindra vehicles which were in a mechanic shop. Is that the story?
And were being branded with
being
NDC.
branded
And he claims they belong to the NCC.
Well, fine. Assuming these facts stand the way it is, that the man took pictures and then maybe made false publication. What offense under the criminal code has he committed? To the best of my knowledge, I sit here, I don't know.
Taking pictures on a
Pictures
private property.
or private property, a criminal code which makes your conduct actionable against the republic. The crime. What crime he has committed, I don't know. Now, if you're talking about your personal civil liberties, which has been violated by a violation of your privacy, invasion of privacy, then I can understand something. Now, if that is so, what is the remedy for the invasion of your privacy? Is it actionable through the arrest of the person and put the person behind a BNI custody, or you have the right to take a civil action against the person to a civil court? You see,
and who determines
matters.
that?
No, that is why whoever thinks aggrieved by the conduct of another person, you ought to consult a lawyer for legal advice. For
What
the
if
person to advise you.
call the state institution like the police or BNI.
You let me
No, I'm
finish.
asking, just so that you
Let
can
me finish.
factor that in
You
your
call
question.
in state institution for the person to cause the arrest of another person. And the question is, under the criminal code, Act 29, or Criminal Offences Act 30, where is the offense that the person will say will be deemed to have committed?
So whose duty will it
Breach
be
of invasion of
to
privacy
arrest or not
is a
to
criminal
arrest?
offense, or is what?
So whose duty will
You see,
it be
so
to arrest
no,
or
no,
not
no,
to
no,
arrest?
Honorable, let me finish. You see, so bottom line, if you're a national security advisor or coordinator, I think that you must be circumspect in the way you deal with the citizens, so that your actions are not seen to be abusing the rights of the ordinary man who has given you the power to rule over them. Because I do not see why and how somebody taking a picture of Mahindra vehicle, granted even without admitting that he went further to do further publication, and the publication were malicious publication, it can found an action under the criminal code for the person to be arrested and put behind the BNI cells. For what reason? For what offense? Now, when the person went there, a day after you release the person, Honorable Dwasari, I'm telling you, I'm saying that if you have not been detained before or arrested before, you do not value liberty. And liberty, to me, is the best form of thing that you can. Look, in this country now, I can say I don't have money to even to eat. I have my liberty to move around, and I'm happy. Somebody can be a rich man, but you don't have your liberty to move around. And in liberty, if you don't have liberty, Nana, you don't have anything. So, if for some reason you want to make an arrest, I think that you should be circumspect. Ask them, what have you done? Because sometimes if you are not careful, this brutish way of use of state power to show that yes, we have the power, we can control. If you are not careful, the next day you're on the other side, and the same can be used also against you. But if you want to build a society where at least it will be fair, a decent society, society of rule of law, then all of us, our actions must speak to only one thing: the law. Nothing but the law. Because today, it could be this man who has been arrested. The next day, power might change hands, another party comes in the power and do the same thing. I mean, we can't build a society like that. We can't go on like that. So, I will not sit here and defend any defenseless action of anybody, whether under MPP or under NDC. Reason being that if you do so, what you are doing is that you are now trying to perpetuate a certain conduct or behavior that ordinarily in a civil society we do not want to encourage. Because if all of us want to be protected by one law, it should be one law. We can't have two laws and different citizens, different laws. No. So it's important that if you want to make any arrest of anybody at all, at least let's find out. And let me tell you one thing. If a BNI official arrests your client, and as a lawyer, you go to the BNI official offices, I'm telling you, if as a lawyer, when they are going to fill their forms, and they see you on the camera, that you are sitting there waiting for them, all right? The client is kept incommunicado for several hours. The lawyer will sit there 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. You don't have conference with the client to find out what exactly why are they even arrested you. So you can even have conference with the person. They'll say, no, we can't see the person. They'll hold the person there and they behave as if in this 21st century, we are still in the old stone age. And you see, we can't keep on going on like that. And this has happened under several regimes in this country. And I have maintained, and I keep on maintaining, they want to build a civilized society. We should detach this politics from the way institutions operate. And let them know they are supposed to act professional, institution, and not political institution. Because if you allow them, the politicians who are going to use to abuse the system. And that's not the way to go. You know, how do you hold somebody in your premises, and then when the lawyer comes and say, oh, the lawyer can wait. And when you even pull their blinds, they see the blinds, they come and tell them, oh, please, close the blinds. It means they've seen that you are sitting there. Yet, they will not let you see the person. And this is not only left to the BNI alone, sometimes even the police people do the same thing.
Right.
So, bottom line, I think that we must build a society where we must be comfortable to live under any regime. It doesn't matter whether it's MPP regime, NDC regime, the
CBP.
law, CBP regime, PFP regime, NDP regime.
The law you love as though it is impossible.
The law must operate. The law must, people must not behave with their own whims and caprices. That when they, at their will, at their pleasure, they can say, Nanaba, now we are sitting here, we think that no, we must come and pick you up. And then we just come, and pick you, and take you there, keep you there for 48 hours, release you. And then the next time, pick you again, 48 hours, release you. I mean, how?
Well, I want
see,
to... do you agree with him when he says that under both regimes, we've seen a lot of frivolous frolics from some of our security apparatus?
I agree with him 100%. You know, but you see, this whole discussion came from this BNI car branding issue and all of that. And that is where my first submission on this matter went the way it did. You see, I just don't want this situation where, yes, Baba Kamara was, he said, yes, this is what happened. And so he reported that he be arrested. But he's not a national security advisor, all right, but he's not a BNI. So the BNI can only establish, is it prima facie case you call it?
No, not prima facie case. Well, they upon they being invited, they should just question the person. What did you do? If they realize there's no criminality in what the person has done, let him go.
And I think that's what happened. Is that not the case?
No, but the person I'm told was made to sleep overnight.
Well, if they never got what they wanted.
Why sleep overnight?
Okay, let me take some responses from social media. If they never got the
responses they wanted from him overnight, we cannot also impede their work because we feel so. I think that, like you rightly said, we should also learn to allow them to operate. Okay, let's give them their free hand, provided on their side too they are being responsible with their job. Okay, so that doesn't look like this impunity thing is setting in. And I am having a challenge because you see, it will never happen from the look of things where, for instance, this whole thing generated this heat because the NPP and their social media, whatever, they were the ones who were pushing this NCC story out on social media. That this vehicle...
Is it?
Oh, yes, I know the names. I can mention some of them to you.
Who were they?
Samuel, Brian Boabi, Okuji Abuo. Those were the guys who were pushing these things on social media, that NCC and NDC has gone to hijack NCC vehicles and branding them for their part campaign.
So that wasn't the fault of the MD then?
Sorry?
That wasn't the fault of the MD.
You see, that is where the NPP comes into the picture. Do you understand?
Why do you always blame these things on the NPP?
No, see, today
because
he has made up his mind that
he's obsessed.
he will not make, he will not make
it's not
any
an
points.
obsession. No.
Is that
He will
obsession?
not
They
make
are
any
even going to
points.
have
Is that
a
fact?
press conference tomorrow.
The NPP?
Yes, on this matter. I
Okay.
was just with Nana Kumia on a station just before I
That they
got
are
here.
addressing this
They are
issue.
going to deal with this issue
Okay.
as a party. So it is something
All
they
right.
feel
Is
very
important.
attached to.
Okay, let me take some messages before we take a break. Philip Duncan says Nanado is working massively. Don't forget this is an election year. Benjamin Yemo, political parties set targets. Whether it's achievable depends on the work they put in. John Tete Chief says, will any party come and stabilize the economy? Our parochial interest is the cause of our woes today. Peter Mahama says, please, what's the Honorable's role at the presidency? He's a presidential staffer. Detective Terry says the NPP has not shown any sign that they are in the position to take more than 14 seats. Black Foreigner says that what is the cost of projects and what were the costs of projects in 1999 and were they the same in 2004 when the NPP was in power? Cost of living has never come down, so the cost of projects will definitely go up. Nanaba, well, thank you for that message. Well, the NPP can be ambitious, but they don't have plans of achieving it because the NPP don't give us facts. Can we have a politician on TV and radio and talk about what they can offer and not compare what each other has done? There's one here from Abdul John who says that, Nanaba, I tend to agree with Gary. I think that the national security is abusing its office and it's rather unfair to we Ghanaians. Jerome Franklin says that, Honorable Eduasari, it's good to see you this evening. I'm very happy to see you and I wish you were still my MP. I think Honorable Eduasari has given you something nice. There are more messages here for you. On what basis can he be charged? Okay, I don't understand your message, Mohammed Abubakar. If you can send that one again. Daniel Osei, fantastic submission by Gary Nimakomafo. Tell him that God bless him on this sense of objectivity. I think he's referring to the national security. Philip Duncan comes back to say NDC is doing better, not just something. I think Philip is obviously a fan of the NDC. Peter Mahama says, I heard Kofi Adams clarifying it. They have the security agencies and people like you and I have the media. Interesting one there. Kobe says, please tell the NDC man, I think he's referring, of course he's referring to Honorable Eduasari, to stop what he's saying because President Akufo-Addo will be in power. He's not the president as yet. We have a president at the moment. There are more messages. We're taking a short break. When we come back, I'm sorry I couldn't read your messages now. When we come back, I'll read a lot more of your messages. Keep them coming. The hashtag is State of Affairs across all social media platforms. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This is former President J.J. Rawlings, and you're watching State of Affairs on GH1.
Right, you're welcome back. We'll be talking more about the NPP and events that have been coming up or out of their camp. But for now, let's listen to Benepson, who's doing the countdown. We'll find out from Gary, is the NPP still training some men and women for the security of its VIPs? Right after this.
This is week 10 of the countdown series. That means we have 30 weeks to use our thumb to choose our leaders. for 2017 to 2020. Perception can be seen, at least in politics, as what people think there is. And at times people think so much that it becomes reality. One of the things working against Nana Akufo-Addo is that perception that he's arrogant. Some of us have known Nana for close more than 30 years. That is not part of it, but that cannot be said that perception has not festered on people. For example, in the aftermath of the 2008 elections, Nana did not do so well as President Kufuor did in the 2004 elections. What we sought to do was to find out the reasons why. Remember, we did the same thing for President Mills when he lost to President Kufuor in the central region in 2004. So naturally, we had to find out. And one interesting thing was that 8% of voters in his home region, Eastern region, felt that they thought he was arrogant. That is a perception that Nana will have to. He tried over the last 2 elections. He did not succeed. I mean, for example, his handlers, those who manage him have not done well for him. If one is abused such a perception, for that we don't go to circle, hire an empty trotro, boarded with Nana Akufo-Addo and a few leading members, drive all the way to Kanishu, you get down, you take shots, and you bring it down that he's not arrogant. No. I'm not saying you should join a normal trotro, but there must be innovative ways of finding out. You cannot also believe that if Nana stops to buy roasted plantain and granules, you take shots and put the pictures out as evidence of not being arrogant, or he goes to somebody's home on his campaigns and eat. Those shots cannot be distributed as well. They have to be more innovative in trying to kill that perception. Let's take 2008, for example. In one of my election books, this one, written in the aftermath of 2008 and towards 2012, I will quote some of the things we wrote, just to give you an example. The work we do is disseminated, and we do is not hidden. If you are a research member or a strategist for a political party, you have to read most things and decipher the good from the bad. For those of you who have this book, on page 147, you know, in the run up to 2008 election, Nana Akufo-Addo had quite some jumps at the beach. And this is what we wrote. Quote, "It will be interesting to see the research which informed Nana Akufo-Addo's campaign embarking on beach jumps, for example, will help him." How that will help him. For the first time, we read exclusively some opinion polls we conducted at 2 of Nana Akufo-Addo's outdoor campaign events. At the jam held for the youth at La Beach, we asked 500 respondents who they will vote for on December 7th. Only 9, that is 1.8%, said they will vote for Akufo-Addo. Again, at the launch of the Believe in Ghana campaign, BIG, we asked 1,000 respondents who they will vote for. Only 90 said they will vote for Nana Akufo-Addo. Well, give credit to the research team. With regard to these beach jams, in the run-up to the 2012 elections, they did not do it. 2008, some of their campaigns, one of them was, you see an advert in insinuating that if you vote for Mills, then you see somebody like a soldier's foot with a leg in the door, creating the impression you vote for Mills like we're waiting for Rawlings. So said, no, at all. Because once Mills had turned down the Rawlings request to take Betty Modi-Drisu as the running mate, he should have known that perception was gone, had gone out of the window. What they shall focus on was the programs that the Kufuor administration had done. This is some examples of how the research team did not help Akufo-Addo. Tomorrow, yes, I'm sure you remember last week was a lot of hula baloo, the 3 South Africans, The MPP said we did nothing wrong. Is the NDC trying to blow it up for propaganda? How effective is propaganda?
Right, so that's the ever-reliable Bni Abusing with a countdown for the EIB network. Of course, it's the election hub. And tomorrow morning, you can catch same, the latest edition with Beswa and Kafu Day in the morning on GH2. And of course, catch a repeat on State of Affairs. Are you still training security personnel? Or are you going to use the police?
Well,
Is it just 2 seconds?
I don't
so I
think
go
that
to my next
I don't
question.
think that you will expect that I'll sit here and release any information about security to the media or the public. These are matters reserved for internal matters, and they are not meant for
So
public
you're still
consumption.
training?
Say it again.
You're still training?
I'm saying these are matters meant for internal matters. They are not
They're for
public
the
consumption.
public.
Yes. In any event,
I thought it was for
in any event,
private consumption.
this so-called hula baloo about the South Africans and all these things, and the furor, and the way they handle it. Nana, if these persons really violated, all right, our criminal code, and not a mere immigration offense, as they are alleging, they ought to have been put before the law court and be prosecuted and sentenced to go and serve jail term. All right? You go to court, a judge grants you a bail order. And some of the worst nightmares as practitioners we go through with the security institutions is what I'm telling you. You go to court, a bail is granted. To go through and execute a bail bond at the registry is a nightmare, because it's sometimes a fight between the lawyer and the security agencies.
Is it that they don't understand?
They don't want to release the person on bail. They don't agree because they come to court to oppose the application anyway.
Right.
And when the application is refused, all right, they are happy. When the application is granted, they are not happy. To bring them to court for the bail bond to be executed at the registry is always a nightmare for the lawyer. And you see, if you have agreed to live under democratic dispensation, these are all part of the law. They are part of the regime. You should respect it. Now, you go to court, the judge said, I've granted bail, keep the person in my registry, go and check the sureties. When everything is settled, let them go. The next thing we hear, you use them back to BNI offices.
But because there was
Saturday,
a request from immigration.
Wait a minute.
That's what
Wait a
we've been
minute.
told.
Wait a minute. But at that time, whether request or no request, an order of bail has been granted. And that order was effective. All right? So there are no immigration or no immigration. Nobody could have done what they did.
So there should be respect for the law.
Exactly.
because That's what the law
Now, if you come to court and you say you don't respect the court, oh, wow. So where else are we going to go? And I've maintained the last institution we have to protect the liberties of the poor and the rich is the court. Nothing else. Nothing else.
All right. Honorable Idrisa, I won't give you the chance to comment on this. I just want to ask you about those cars, the Mahindra cars. They're for the NDC, right?
Certainly.
They're for the NDC. And I just saw a video and I showed it to you.
Yes.
So which region are these cars meant for?
Certainly, every
For your
political
campaign.
party will procure vehicles.
So they are not for the
Listen.
NCC. They've not been hijacked.
Ooh, how is that possible? How is that possible? I think we are again reducing our politics into the arena of absurdity and madness if we don't really control some of these things. Because tomorrow, Nanaba, somebody can come and say that they saw Nanaba in whatever.
Put me in a good car.
No, I'm trying. You know,
A Bugatti or a Lamborghini or something.
Tanaba is no longer a man, a woman. It's a man.
Oh dear.
You understand?
Yes, I get
Yes, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about.
Right.
So absurd. People will go and clone letters and post them out there and place people's names there. If you
That is actually alarming. It's
you
worrying.
see, we are
actually.
getting to that point that we have to be very careful, because whatever this thing was intended to do was to put back government in bad light, to make government look like we are so irresponsible. We will procure cars for NCC, and then NDC will have that, I mean, with impunity, go and take over 50 cars and brand them and use them. So, I mean, what are we supposed to achieve with that?
How many cars were those?
Well, I can't
Over
give
50.
specific numbers because I don't have official...
For campaigning, huh?
No, certainly we believe that we will have people donating cars and other things for elections. These things happen across.
So this was a donation?
I don't know. I said we will have people do that. MPP, I'm sure, within the next few months, will start driving around town with some branded vehicles as well. And these are things we've seen since 1992. So for anybody to want to court enmity and, you know, some negative reportage for government, because these things, when you put them out there, they go viral, the whole world gets to know, and it places government in a certain light, as if we are so irresponsible, we can dissipate state funds the way, you know, it's not fair. Okay,
I'm dying to hear what the NPP has to say about it tomorrow.
Well, Nana Kumian said they were going to
talk about it.
But I think it's a lame...
Is it?
Yeah, completely. A lame attempt to even hang on straws. I was telling him, you see, usually when some kinky seller, after selling kinky, whilst it's raining, these plates, some of the plastic plates, you know, the tide will, is it tide or whatever they call it?
The rain will just,
will just take it along and then end up in the sea. If someone is drowning and think it's a surfboard, they can hang on it and try to swim ashore. Okay.
I've never heard this one
before. You see, so here we are. They are holding on to very lame arguments, issues that will not hold water. Because look, we want to see their flag bearer really at work. For me, that's what the electorate would have loved to see.
How is that your business?
It's not a big, and for me,
what is it to you?
Because he's not working.
He's visible.
He's not working, and we believe that when we beat him, he won't come and complain.
What is that to you?
It is because he has to go to work, so that when he wins, when we win, he will know that he worked, and because this is rather pushing the election into our hands. With no effort. We will win, beat him mercilessly, and then we'll turn around that, you know, somebody stole something. Please, you should get to work.
But I honestly don't understand how this is your business. Please come in.
His running mate is doing the job.
Is it not interesting that if we go into a battlefield, and your opponent is not prepared, you know, doing it.
It's not coming out. You should be happy.
You should be happy that
but
they're actually worried.
No, you know they're worried.
Because you want to beat him fair and square.
No, we want to see whether he's active or not. That's all.
See, the strategy of the party, they have no idea of. That's why they are not confused.
Oh,
wow. As to how we are operating.
We saw 2008, we saw 2012. There's a slow pace this time round.
Wait a minute.
2 years ago, he became the candidate. 2 years ago.
All right? Nana is not working. Be happy. Why not? Because at the end of the day, means it's gonna just.
Did your party people vote for someone to sit in an armchair and campaign? Is that what you are saying?
But you didn't vote for him.
How does it become?
You are not a member of the
your party people are complaining. That's what I'm putting out there for you.
No. In any event,
your party people are complaining that they can't see him on the field.
Wait a minute.
I'm talking for them. They can't say it.
Wait a minute. I believe that as I've indicated, if Nana is not working, I mean, it was good for you. It means that you retain power.
I'm not the one complaining. No, it's your party people who can't speak.
They
are afraid of suspension.
Anyway, it was good for you. So don't worry.
I want to use the last, I think we have just about 10 minutes to go, to visit an issue the executive director for IDEC brought up. And he warned of a possible collapse of our democratic system if vote buying is not stopped ahead of the November polls. Dr. Emmanuel Akwete says the practice and several others undermine Ghana's democratic system, which calls for urgent attention. Vote buying. And the moment you talk about vote buying, every attention is on the NPP and the NDC. You agree? Gary, what are your thoughts on vote buying?
I thought we would rather start with Honorable Advisor.
Why do they buy votes?
He is a former MP.
So maybe he bought votes.
I have not gone for any election before.
Have you bought votes before?
I think it's an impression.
It's a myth.
Yes, it's an impression that it's not deep. It doesn't have a grounding, because I wonder how many people one can buy. If you have over 14 million voters, how many of them can you buy? That's the point. So honestly, and it's also in another
so it
way.
is not possible.
In another way,
votes.
it's an insult to the sensibilities of well-meaning people that they have to be paid before they go and vote for somebody. It's quite offensive when I saw it as part of as one of the headlines. I think we are overblowing a very flimsy issue. Because what is vote buying? How do you define it? That's what, before I come and vote, I would like queue. Those in the queue will be paid on the day of elections, or how? I want to understand it. It doesn't have any basis. I can't fathom how that works. You see, there is, as a parliamentary candidate, you will spend money regardless, because you will people want to wear your T-shirts. People want to see, even people want to place your posters in their room, on their compound, and all of these things. Yes, so you spend some money to acquire this party paraphernalia and other stuff. Okay. Beyond that, there are some who will help you in pasting these posters, hoisting flags and banners and other things for you. You have to pay some of them. But if you
suddenly moved into a community and you started giving them fertilizer?
Fertilizer from who?
Whichever party goes in, because I hear some of you parties actually stoop so low to give more money.
Oh, please! You see,
I mean,
these are all
hearsays.
Yes, I don't see the basis, because you see.
Okay, let me quote Dr. Akwete here. He says that it is not the power of the people that is governing Ghana now, but the power of people who have money. They have different agenda than serving the public good, and are exploiting the system.
I was expecting to see one evidence, one example. For instance, like you have cited fertilizers. He should let us, they are doctors and very well-learned people. So they should not just throw arguments like this in the public domain without the facts, without the basis.
Okay.
Do you understand? Let's address an issue if there's one. Let's not just throw issues out there and create all kinds of whatever, because people are reading this, and he's an authority when it comes to political issues.
He obviously knows what he's talking about.
So we would have been more enlightened if he came up and said, for instance, in 2004 elections, Party XYZ did this, and this is the evidence. 2008, XYZ party did that. This is the evidence. Then there will be antecedents that we can really.
He was speaking to a radio station in Kumasi,
right.
And the story goes on to say that some callers admitted selling their votes during elections, ignorant of the consequences. I mean, you have been in politics for a while now. Do you understand the...
Nanaba, can I say something before Gary comes in? When you go behind that box, whoever gave you that money, is he standing there with you?
Absolutely.
So what is the guarantee that whatever money you took, you are actually going to vote for them? So for me, it's neither here nor there.
Right.
The right is still yours. Your power to vote and to choose is still yours because the system doesn't give you that unfettered privilege to go and hide somewhere with someone to a fascia and then you place it there. No, it doesn't happen like that.
Okay. Gary.
And I think this is a very complex topic for us to discuss this evening. First of all, our number rightly said, if you are a member of parliament or you want to run for parliamentary elections, there are certain expenses that obviously they come as of course. Especially you need to do your T-shirts. Some must hold a T-shirt for you. You must do meetings. You need to do rallies. You need to feed people who come to your programs, and you must give them TNT transport to go back. Some of them you may have to even take care of their school fees because they come to you and say they don't have any fees. And even sometimes you might not be an MP, you might be an affiliate of an MP, and they'll come to you and ask for money from you because of the difficulties they might find in their own peculiar circumstances. Is it this one that is a vote buy-in? Or on the election day, people go and then take certain consideration, i.e. collect physical cash to enable them to go and decide who to vote for. And when these monies, even if they are given, and I'm not sure that they are given in public for anybody to see, because it's a criminal offense to do so.
Yeah.
It's a criminal offense to attempt to induce somebody to vote for you. It's an offense. It's a, so I think we should be careful and find out whether it is the expenses that people will incur in going for the elections or the direct payments that they make. Well, I have heard allegations sometimes that in the by-election we recently was organized in the which was the one in the north, Talensi, that NDC had bars, food and all manner of things, troop into the system.
Did they?
And they were sharing them fertilizers and all that, sharing to the people directly. And then
constructing roads in the middle of the night.
So there are sometimes, our politics sometimes, the way people do it, is quite peculiar. Because, well, if for instance, we're looking at maybe American politics.
Yeah.
Maybe these little things don't matter to anybody. What they want maybe possibly is big policy. What can shape the American dream? What can make everybody feel that, look, when we all live under this path, there's a way that our children's future will be guaranteed in a free, fair, democratic society. You see. But maybe here our circumstances are such that a man sitting there, possibly maybe the whole day, if you give him 1 Ghana cedi, 5 Ghana cedi, it's a huge money in the village to enable him to sustain his life. So the politician walks in there in a by-election and say, oh, well, I'm contesting for elections. And then as he maybe after the campaign, as he's going, they say, well, maybe take this one for transport or take this for this. Is that the vote buying?
Well,
I
we
think
need more education
we should be a bit careful the way we try to, go about some of these things. So that we get
the allegation again is that it's going to destroy our
democratic system.
And it's a very serious
All right.
allegation.
But Nana, I think we should not lose out the fact that democracy itself is very expensive.
It is.
You see, because if you want to run for elections, you will expect that you are going to spend.
Certainly.
If you don't have the money to spend, you don't go into public elections. Because, you need to, spend some money to enable you, even the people that you are in your constituents. Don't forget that our people, most of them are living in the private communities. Most of them don't have the money.
Okay.
The means to survive is even not there. So, let's balance it. If it's about direct money to induce somebody to go and vote for you, that one, it's a criminal offense, and nobody will condone that kind of behavior.
Okay.
But in all this, Nana, if the administration, the current administration were doing things to better the life of the people, nobody will go and kill for even kako for batches or anything. Nobody will go and kill.
You just had to throw that jab, didn't you?
No, he doesn't know where he's coming from.
I'm telling you, if things are better.
I said, you see, Ghana didn't start.
Okay, let me just take some messages.
You will not go for rally and expect that you
Ghana did not start from 2012. Okay, before 2012, there was
There were elections.
Yes.
Okay.
So there was a government in power,
Okay.
and we saw.
Honorable Edwasari, message from Echo Mace to you. Shouldn't Edwasari be rather excited that the NPP's candidate isn't working?
I'm talking for them. That's what I
Are you the spokesperson?
Yeah, they can't say it. They are afraid of suspensions.
All right. On that note, I have to say a big thank you. Thank you so much for sending in those messages, and I apologize profusely if I wasn't able to read your messages tonight. There's been quite a number. Thank you, Honorable Kojo Edwasari, for passing through the show. And of course, Gary Nimakoma, for a lawyer. I called you last minute, but you still showed up. Thank you so much.
It's public service.
Public service, for God and country. Yes. Thank you very much. I Candy for my attire this evening, and also to
Very
Cookies
splendid dress.
Thank you. Gary, aren't you going to say anything about my
You're looking good.
Okay, thank you. And to Cookies Parlor for my hair. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Tomorrow we have Anthony Kabo and Felix Ofosukwache on the show debating Dr. Bawumia's 10-point plan for dealing with unemployment. Stay tuned.